Every man will face disrespect at some point. The weak man reacts emotionally. The gentleman, however, responds with power, dignity, and control. Handling disrespect correctly is a true sign of masculinity. And by the end of this video, you'll know how to deal with disrespect in any situation without losing your composure. Hello, my name is James, and I am on a mission to create a generation of gentlemen. The biggest mistake that men make when faced with disrespect is to overreact with anger. Whether you raise your voice, get upset, or immediately want to fight, these are all signs that you have lost control. And when your enemy sees that you have lost control, they immediately know that you are weak. A true gentleman knows when to walk away. However, he doesn't ignore disrespect without a plan. While you might think it's the right move to simply turn the other cheek, in many cases that will allow others to walk all over you. And we have a lesson from history that proves this also. In ancient Rome, Julius Caesar ignored his political betrayals until he was eventually assassinated. His appetite for appeasement ended up costing him his life. On the other hand, a man must recognize when to stand firm. And I've developed a 3-tiered response for any gentleman facing disrespect. I'd like to call the first step the silent mastery approach. This is where you focus on controlling yourself first. Because remember, it doesn't matter how much disrespect you are facing, a gentleman does not allow his emotions to dictate his actions. So be sure that you are maintaining a strong posture, tone of voice, and eye contact. Before you even say anything back, carry yourself with a quiet strength, much like Gary Cooper. Another great example of this is the way that James Bond deals with disrespect at the poker table in Casino Royale. When he's insulted, he responds calmly and strategically, making his adversary look simply foolish. Step 2 is the tactical verbal response. Use words in a sharp yet understated way. Instead of engaging in an emotional argument, a gentleman redirects that disrespect back toward the offender. This is the power of indirect dismissal. For example, there's a very famous story about Lady Astor and Winston Churchill. They are sat down having dinner together one evening, and Lady Astor really has a disliking for Churchill. She says to him, "If I were your wife, I would poison your tea." And he replied, "Madam, if you were my wife, I would drink it." So use humor or some kind of indirect response to maintain control. However, there does come a time when a gentleman must defend his honor. I call this step 3, the last resort. When words are not enough, actions matter. For example, back in 1898, when the leadership and courage of Theodore Roosevelt was brought into question, he enlisted in the Rough Riders and led them into battle. Sometimes, proving yourself is the best response to disrespect. And now I'd like to go over a few different situations in which you may face disrespect and how to handle it like a gentleman. Firstly, let's address some social situations. If you are insulted in public, don't try to win the argument with words. In these situations, non-reactivity is your power. Make the person who tried to disrespect you look foolish. For some inspiration, check out the movies of Gary Cooper, particularly High Noon. This Hollywood icon was known for his quiet yet commanding presence, and he never would have engaged in petty drama. If you face disrespect in your career or business, success is the best form of revenge. Take a look at Elon Musk. The man has countless critics, but instead of getting caught up in petty arguments, he simply executes and builds. And you can even turn your critics or your skeptics into a fuel for your improvements. I can personally tell you that when I receive a negative comment, I'm sorry to all the trolls out there, but it actually fuels me to make more and better videos. Now, how about disrespect in a relationship? A man should never tolerate disrespect from a woman, but that doesn't mean you need to be reactive toward it. For example, Steve McQueen, he never begged, he never chased, he never engaged in emotional warfare. Ultimately, a gentleman just walks away from people who don't respect him. Gentlemen, I'll leave you with this. Disrespect is a test. The way you handle it defines you. Now, a true gentleman never acts out of impulse. He responds with strategy. So next time somebody disrespects you, remember that your weapons are silence, confidence, and action. And I would love to know from you in the comments, so we can all learn by a negative example. What is the worst way you've ever seen somebody handle disrespect? Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.